Good to see you guys again. Today just talk a little bit about the transfer guys and incoming guys that we brought in here for high school. 17 transfers currently enrolled, and 10 high school players that came in. So 27 total players, have had great impact on our team so far. We had, right now we're in the middle of our winter program. And, we'll put some stuff out there. You guys have seen some of the workouts and that type of thing. The guys are working extremely hard. We want to make it extremely difficult and tough, and it has been. I was talking to Fletch yesterday, and he's like, it's by far the hardest winter program that he's been through, and he's been through a lot. So, and we wanted to make that way just because we want to stress our guys. We want to create adversity and see how they're going to respond and all those type things. Well, the influx of all these players, I thought have really, brought some great energy. These guys are coming here working extremely hard. As you would suspect, these guys really have not been extremely vocal. They just really come in and worked. I think trying to earn that respect. And a few of the players. I'll mention a few of the guys. Brendan Sorsby, his quarterback, that I think has come in and worked really hard. It's changed his body. He came in. I think his first day was 241. 241 pounds, and he's around 236, 237. Kind of changed his body over the last 5 weeks. He's got himself in some great shape. You can see he does have some twitch. For a guy that size, he can run, and really excited to be able to see that. Joe Royer's a tight end, from right here in Cincinnati. Who man, he looks awesome. I think he's 6'5", 255, somewhere in that range. He looks like you're supposed to look at that position. Can really move as well. He's done some great stuff in far as the winter program stuff. Derek Canteen's a guy who came in. He's a guy who's in the Sun Belt and last year was at Virginia Tech. Has played a ton of football. Has played multiple positions in the back end. One of the things that we really like about him, he's extremely versatile. But he brings a great deal of leadership. I mean, he just carries himself in a manner that you really like. Excited about what he's going to be able to bring to the table as well. Again, played a lot of football. Jared Bartlett's a guy we faced last year. Played outside linebacker for West Virginia. Has played a ton of football. I think 26 starts at West Virginia. Brings a ton of experience and maturity as well. Really like seeing what he's been able to do. Can't wait to watch him this spring and maybe some different roles. What we're going to be asking him to do. Obviously, rush the passer, but also some linebacker stuff. Kai Stokes is the other guy that I want to mention. He's come in and. He was low 180s. He's up over 190 now. 6'2", long, rangy, hardly any body fat, zero body fat. It's crazy how skinny our body fat is so low. But he's really gotten stronger over the last 5 to 6 weeks. Can move really well. He's a guy I think has got a huge upside, and he's a great human being, fun to be around. The one thing that I would say about all these guys that we brought in, great attitudes. Encouraging type players. I mean, that's what you want to see, and what we were intentional about bringing in. Not only good players, but we wanted to bring in, high character guys, and I think we've hit on all these guys.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, it seems like one of the main continuous messages in the videos and the things that have come out is embracing last year and not running from it. Do you think that's important as you're building forward to not try to pretend like last year didn't happen, but to say it's not good enough? I think that's one of the things you continue to hear is it's not good enough and we have to do better.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to sweep it under the rug and act like it didn't happen, but it did. We didn't like it. Nobody liked it, obviously. And, for many, many reasons we've talked about, the reason why I think it happened the way it did. And, we wanted to recognize what happened, all right, and how did that happen, and what can we learn from it? And I think anytime you go through something tough, and we did, it was very difficult. I mean, I think about coming to this press conference or after the game, and you sound like a broken record there by the end of the season. And but having gone through that, it has to make us tighter as a football team. We have to learn from that so we don't repeat that. And I think, to our guys' credit, the ones that went through that and the ones that are back, they've really shared that with these new guys, because these guys don't know. These guys just got here. But we want them to understand what we went through, and that we don't want that to happen again. And so there's certain things that we have to do in order for that not to happen. And so, we took it in stride what happened. We didn't like any of it. but I think you have to learn from that. You have to be able to grow from that, and I think we did. And listen to these guys' credit, man. I mean, yesterday, what we're doing on Mondays is a mental training day, and we break up in small groups. Our crews, 6 different crews, and it's led by the players. And I sit in every Monday. I've sat in a different group, and it's awesome to hear our guys talk. Coaches are in there, but really it's all about the players, and to hear what they're saying, man. It's a great group to listen to. They're mature in what they're, and they haven't shied away from the things that happened to them last year, and so that's great. We'll just continue to learn from those things.
Sorsby has big-time Big Ten experience. Last year you had Bryant and Emory competing over the spring. What do you tell the two Bradys? I mean, I did see a picture of Brady Drogosh the other day, and he looked ripped.
Yeah, he does.
So
he is ripped.
I mean, it's an interesting situation.
Oh yeah, I'm going to tell you this: there is as fun a group to work with as I've been around. I mean, they're awesome. Like they all have great attitudes. They're all competing. I mean, we're essentially, the quarterback position, you got one guy that's going to play, right? And then, maybe another guy plays. And like last year, we were able to play a couple guys. But they're so fun to be around. They're competing their butts off. I mean, Lichty and Drogosh and, Brendan, I mean, they all are. And that's what you want to see. I mean, and to be able to see that competition and help, that's going to help each other, it's going to help them grow. And we want that from every position, and I think, whenever they see that and you see unselfish play, particularly at that position of quarterback, and then, and see how those guys perform each and every day. I mean, they have not shied away from that. And I think that's what we want to see that. You love that, and you want that at every position. So the competition is just going to make everybody better. And then we'll see who's going to rise to the top.
Evan Prater was a highlight of that last video that came out yesterday, talking about the position change, how tough it was, what he had to go through to do that. Would it be a surprise at all, or what does he have to do to kind of hit that next level of being that contributor, a wide receiver, not just a guy that's kind of serviceable after a position change?
Yeah, I would really hope to see him continue to expand his role and what he does for this football team. He is a great leader. I mean, a great leader. And he brings the juice, the energy, positivity every day, and it was great to be able to kind of highlight him yesterday in that video. And he's so well respected by all his players, all the players on the team, but as well as the coaching staff. And he is growing more in his role in that position. I do think we'll be able to do a lot of different things as far as moving him around. He's very intelligent. He knows what all the positions are. So not just a split in an X receiver, to be able to play, motion him and have him in near the box and be able to do some things that way. Try to get some different matchups, maybe on linebackers, safeties, not only just on corners. So, I hope we can expand that and be able to do that. We'll see how this spring goes to be able to move him around, do a lot more things with him, and get him the ball. He's good with the ball in his hands, and so he's got good size. I do think he's gotten better and better as we, anytime. I mean, I was really impressed when he first made the switch, but he's gotten so much better as it's gone along. So, he's a guy that I'm pulling for, to be able to go out there and make a lot of plays for us this year.
Sorsby on tape towards the end of this past season, what are you most fired up about from what you saw against some really high level?
Yeah, you can see this on tape, but you love how competitive he is. Like, he fights for every yard. You can just see how he's playing. Those type, I want that from the quarterback position because they will you to wins. But he does have a good arm. He can throw the football. He's got really good size. I mentioned that earlier. Upper 230s. But he also has some twitch. He can run. And so we obviously want to utilize the running game from that position. I do think his best football is ahead of him. And you go back and look at that. Last year as a freshman, against some really, really good defenses, arguably some of the better defenses in the country were in the Big Ten. Maybe, I don't know if that's because he had bad offenses there, but it was some good defenses in the Big Ten. And he, again, the Penn State game had a great game. I think Illinois had a great game. He's very capable and able to make a lot of plays, and he can make all the throws. I think more than anything, it comes down to decision making. That's what we don't know yet because we hadn't really worked with them on, football wise. What kind of decisions are you going to make? Are you going to try to force the ball in there, and create a turnover, or are you going to be smart with the football and play within yourself? And I think that's the things that we'll be able to see. But he certainly has all the tools, and we're excited about working with him.
Joe Royer had a prolific senior season here in Cincinnati. Obviously, his college career at Ohio State didn't go as planned, injuries, setbacks. Do you get the sense from a guy like him how much he's looking forward to showcasing what he can do at the college level?
I do. I think Joe has the potential to be one of the better tight ends in our league. I really do. I know he hadn't played a ton. You know, you think about what happened at Ohio State, and you know, didn't see the field a whole lot. When he did, I thought he was productive. You know, when he did play, and so yeah, I mean, I think the way he can move with that size, he's got a chance to be really special. You know, and I think he'll come in here and continue to work like he's working now, and be a huge positive for our offense. And really, I feel like, you know, that room to me was a weak room on our offense last year overall. And I think he'll come in here and make that a strength for that room. And we also brought in a couple freshmen that I think are going to be really outstanding football players. They're doing some great stuff this off season, or you know, the first 5 or 6 weeks as well. You know, and you got Peyton back. I mean, so I think that tight end room is going to be a fun room to watch.
Obviously, the defensive backfield struggled last season. You guys brought in a lot of support out of the portal. How do you foresee that competition going down? And here are some names that could kind of hit the top of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's we got a lot of guys competing for some spots, you know, and I feel like, you know, in that, you know, bringing Tyson in and some things that we'll do defensively, you know, you're going to be able to utilize a lot of DBs in that defense. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to this spring is, all right, where are guys going to play? You know, what positions and who are going to be able to make those plays? I think Minkins has had a really good winter so far. I mentioned Canteen, Stokes, Mackay, Miller. You know, there's Logan, you know, who could play, you know, a nickel as well as a corner position that came in from North Texas. So I think Sanks has really shown the ability to be able to move. Man, he moves a lot, maybe better than I thought he could move. I mean, he's over 190 now as a true freshman. I'm excited about him to see what he can do. You know, I think you know, Zay Johnson's a true freshman that's looking really good. You know, there's several of those guys. There are a lot of newcomers are going to be in the DB room. I mean, I think this spring maybe 10 or 11 newcomers. You know, when you think about corners and safeties, and you know, and we needed an overhaul back there. We were not very good back there, and you know, and I think that's one of the positions that I'm most, you know, anxious to just be able to see is how these guys fit in at the safety position and corner, and how we're going to be playing out there. You know, we gave up way too many big plays. I mean, way too many big plays outside, and you know, the good news is we can't do any worse than we did last year. So we're going to be better back there. But I also think, you know, with all these guys, the competition is going to be really, really good to be able to see who's going to get a spot and go out there and play.
You don't call him Gravy yet?
I mean, you know, we do call him Gravy. So I go back from Zay to Gravy. You know, I want him to make some plays so I can really call him Gravy, you know.
I mean, sauce followed by gravy, that's perfect.
No doubt. No doubt.
Going into the spring, how difficult is it, or do you have to keep an open mind? You've got 27 new guys. Yeah. In terms of, you know, building a depth chart, or do you go into it and say, these are the guys we know, and then we're going to open course for everything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think you go into it really, and we've told the guys, hey, you know, we're going into this with an open mind. You know, I think particularly on defense, you know, I think we're probably a little bit more settled on offense with a lot of the guys that are coming back. Defensively, we've talked to, you know, every one of them. We met with all the guys, you know, and for a lot of them, we're kind of like, listen, we're going to start you out this position, but then let's see where you may end up moving to. I mean, and you may be a great fit for you. So I do think a little bit more open-minded, you know, with that. I don't really think we got any depth charts on defense. I mean, you know, these guys, we're going to see who can play and who can't play, and where do they need to play. I mean, Corleone's probably number one nose, right? we got him where he needs to be. But I think for a lot of the guys, it's going to be, hey, man, go out there and make plays and see who's going to be the guy. You know, really don't have depth charts. There's going to be a lot of guys with a lot of reps this spring.
Is it interesting or aggravating that come April 15th, the corral gates open again, and you got to look and other teams have to look, and you just never know? Yeah,
it's aggravating, you know, and you know, it's so much talk with this, and, you know, I think, shoot, there's, you know, the stuff that's happening now with Tennessee, Virginia, and, you know, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how this stuff, you know, pans out here. I think it is extremely difficult when now, you know, we're sitting here with 2 windows. I mean, I hope to goodness we'll go at least just to 1 window when you can transfer. And now at least all right, here's our team, you know, as opposed to, you know, 2 times now in the year, it's still kind of up in the air. That's very frustrating, I think, for everybody, really, quite honestly. You know, but it is what it is, so we'll embrace it. You know, I like our guys. I like where we're at right now. We'll see what happens at the end of the spring. I'm sure there'll be some guys that maybe will move on. We may have to bring some guys in. I mean, I just think you know, you have to brace yourself for that. And but we'll see how that goes. But it is very aggravating for sure.
One more for Coach.
Jack Dingle's a guy who has a really high ceiling, had a good year last year. Coach Veit comes in, linebacker background, multiple All-Americans. How much are you looking forward to seeing how much more he can grow underneath that mature leadership from Veit?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's going to be really good for Dingle. I also think, you know, hopefully we'll be able to create some more depth in there. Because I thought he got wore down a little bit by the end of the season. I mean, he's banged up. I mean, he's out there playing, but you know, he's not going. You can't pull him out of the game. But there's a lot of things that he was injured. You know, couldn't get a full, you know, 100% out of him. And I think he is now feeling good. That's another position because of the way we'll play our linebackers. That it's going to be kind of different. And I think that's going to be interesting to see where they play. You know, what positions, you know, are they going to play? And I'm excited to be able to watch that as well. I do think in this defense, those backers have a great opportunity to make a lot of plays. And the one thing that he can do is run. You know, and you know he's showing that right now in our winter workouts. And you know, a guy that's great size. And if you go look at Iowa State, some of their linebackers, they're big. You know, similar to Dingle, and I think he kind of fits you know, this scheme really, really well. He could have one of these big time years. I hope he does.
Final question from Dan.
Thank you. Did you get any feedback on how Juwan Briggs did at the Senior Bowl?
I did not. I've not talked to anybody that was coaching there, or you know, at the Senior Bowl. I mean, you know, it looked like you know, I thought like he did a good job as far as practices go and that type of thing from some of the videos that I've seen. I know he handled himself well. He's a great human being. So, but I have not heard any kind of things from the NFL about where he stands with that.
Did you get a box of Nike gear out to the Kelsey family?
We need to.
No,
I don't know. We did.
We definitely.
We definitely. We definitely did. That's good. Yes.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Coach.